Hi guys, it's a beautiful mild morning here in Maryland in zone 6B 7A, and I wanted to show you, I think I have finally found my aesthetic, and that is English garden. I want to do an English garden theme in my own garden here, and I thought I have some things I already have that remind me of an English garden. One of those things is a rose hedge. And this is my husband's hedge of roses. He loves this. It's in full bloom now. And it looks really gorgeous. So roses are the first thing that I think of when creating an English garden. So I've made sure to add more. But this one is just in beautiful bloom, this whole hedge. And hedging is another thing that's very big with English gardening. I'm trying to add topiaries in containers all around the garden, but this is my rough start. I've just trimmed these down, and right now they're looking more like Dr. Seuss trees, especially this one has hardly anything on it. It's hard to see. But I've underplanted this one with mondo grass, and I've got mother of time seeds spread out through these two topiaries here. That one's just a cutting that's rooting in, and this one actually has roots, but I've put the little mother of time seeds, so that's a very fine ground cover that turns red. And then I have a little sedum over here under this wonky looking topiary. Same thing over here, more sedum. And then I have an Alberta spruce that I've already had here, which is a nice conical topiary shape. That's just its normal habit, and if I want I can trim it back, but it grows in a conical shape on its own, so that really shouldn't even be necessary. And then I have a rose bush down here that I've been nursing back to health. Oh, by the way, this is my concrete bird bath by Henry Studios. It was a gift a couple years ago from my family, from my husband, and I love it. My husband thinks it looks like a sombrero, but right now the bees are probably looking for water, but I've had to empty it. I've had a crow bringing its kill here. Every single afternoon it comes with baby birds or dead mice, and I come out and there's this rotting flesh in my beautiful bird bath, so I've had to keep it empty. I think my solution to that will be putting in some river rocks. That way that it can become more of a bee bath. The birds can still enjoy it, but it won't be a deep pool for him to wash his prey in. It's really been quite upsetting this week, but look, here's lots of bees. And they've been coming and enjoying the bath before the terrible situation. But let me show you over here what I've got. I've got a beautiful blooming rose down here. But isn't that a beauty? I don't know the name of that. That I got probably 8 years ago, and like I said, I'm nursing it back to health. I moved it here last year and I've put a lot of compost on it, but I just think it's a beautiful variety. And I've tried to do some cohesive pots in a blue theme. This one has some rescue roses in it, all white, and I'm doing kind of a blue, white, and purple theme for my deck, which is newly painted. So we're excited about that. It gives it a second lease on life. But I have another conical structure here, kind of a topiary form, and I painted that black pot. It wasn't a nursery pot, but it was just a cheap pot from Lowe's, and I got a can of spray paint, and I've been spraying everything blue. Different shades of blue, I might add. And then I've put white geraniums in here, and I've underplanted it with, it hasn't quite grown in, although I think the seeds have germinated, but this is underplanted with some sweet alyssum. in kind of a purple and white mixture. So my white container will have white flowers and purple flowers. I think that'll be really pretty, especially next to the blue. And guys, my trick to planting shrubs in containers is to add some ground soil to it. Here we have clay soil, and that really helps keep it from drying out. So I mix potting mix, maybe about 1/3 ground soil and then 2/3 potting mix. And I hope to get a few years out of that, maybe 2 or 3 years. This evergreen should be okay as long as we don't have a crazy cold winter. Although this shrub, Alberta spruce, is cold hardy, probably 2 zones down from where I am. So you definitely want to pick for container plants, if you're doing shrubs, something that's at least 2 zones lower than your area. So 2 zones colder than your area should be okay in a container. You can also put it in a sheltered area, but this small root ball that was on here has loads of soil around it, so I think I'm okay for a couple years on that. But here is a quick pan of the new arrangement on my deck. I'm not sure I even showed it before. It wasn't anything to look at before, but we've put a seating area up in this part where the best view is, and groups of potted plants, and I have the table over here with blue cushions. Right now they're underneath an overhang till we need to use them, just so they don't get wet. But everything is blue and white and purple up here, and the deck has been refinished in gray. And then over here I have some herbs growing. I have some basil in pots, and I thought the grouping of pots looked nice. These look a little dry, so I have to try to get those watered. Those are purple opal basil seedlings, so I hope that they germinate. I'll get those watered first thing after I finish my video. And over here I have a set of containers that I tried to give an English look to. And I think geraniums are a very English looking flower. I think they're used a lot in English flower gardening, containers especially. But I thought that looked nice. And my favorite blue spray paint has been this navy blue. I just think it's a gorgeous blue. But this one just has geraniums and a glass water ball. And this one is another Alberta spruce, so I have 2 of those in pots. This one is in a wider pot, so I've underplanted it with purple petunias and lemon coral sedum. I think that looks really pretty, so I hope those enjoy the pot and get big and drape down the side of the pot. And then this one, although it looks like quite a mess, has tall blue dondo ageratum, and then I saved some white echinacea that was being chewed up. That's why they look so chewed up. I saved it from our bunny family. We have a bunny family living under the deck. They're probably listening to every word, but they are so adorable, all different size bunnies, and I'm enjoying them. But they are enjoying the echinacea, so I decided it would have a better chance if I moved it up here, and I think it'll flush out just fine, maybe within a month, and hopefully we'll see some blooms. I don't know how badly damaged they are, but the roots seemed okay. So that'll be a blue and white combination in that pot. Again, I spray painted an old pot, and my friend brought this pot over, so that was wonderful. And this is just a nursery pot. I think you guys saw me spray this one on a video. And then over here, just on the side, is my triangle garden. And I have my concrete features, my new path, which I've shown you. I made these stepping stones. It wasn't hard, but it was a little bit labor intensive. So I have the concrete path, and I have my concrete sundial. And then this entire triangle garden is going to be a perennial flower garden with a few annuals mixed in. I did the blue ageratum and some lupines. And I'm not sure I'm going to get liatris. Again, the bunnies love liatris. One lone tomato here. But I have sage down here, which is tall. It's right up next to the deck. And I have some Shasta daisies. I put autumn joy sedum all across the top. And I added river rock to my bee bath, guys. I think that's easier for the bees. But autumn joy sedum, which I think a moth took after, some type of moth, but it seems like the new growth isn't being bothered. And then I have some sea holly, which is kind of a thistle-y flower. So down here, oh, I also have a peony. So I don't know what color my peony is, but everything else planted in here is white or purple. And I did throw out a few California giant zinnia seeds, but zinnias and liatris are Bunny's favorites, so I'm not sure I'm going to be seeing that. Oh, as well as my lupine, which is just seeding up front. So I have a few things in here that still might be eaten by the bunnies, but a lot of the varieties that are in here already are not favorites for the bunnies. So I should have something over here, maybe about 60 or 70% of my flowers should be okay. So we'll see what happens with the bunnies. And then over here I have Veronica, which the pollinators love. And that's just coming into flower. Very pretty. Here's a bit of a better angle. It's starting to get bright, and that makes it a little bit hard to show the colors. But the purple on this is magnificent. And these were grown from seed. Last year, they did a little bit of blooming, but not like this year. All of the plants are covered with blooms this year, so I'm very excited about that. And I have a hydrangea, a huge hydrangea in the back. This my mother-in-law brought over probably 25 years ago. She had it in her apartment and enjoyed the blooms, and then said, why don't you plant this in your garden? And here it is 25 years later. So I'm happy to see a few little bloom stalks on there at the very tips. I was worried because of the late frost that we had. I thought maybe it would be damaged, but I think we're going to get blooms out of it. And then this is a patch of colorful sorrel, kind of a purpley red veined leaf, and I think it's very attractive. I dry it down and make powder out of it, put it on food. I think this is such a pretty tableau here. I have the arborvitae in the back and the multicolored Sweet William. Isn't that beautiful? It's red, pink, and white. And I've just got the arborvitae peeking over there. And I planted these here in not so great soil. Last year I also grew these from seed. I have some more growing in my rustic bed in the back for next year. But they're such a beautiful flower. The pink ones are a little bit behind. As you can see, they're just starting to open up. But the red ones were the first to open, and I think they're just spectacular. They also have a very pretty foliage, and they don't seem to need staking. At least not here in this spot. But I just think they're so beautiful, and I think flowered filled gardens with evergreens are very English style. Isn't that nice, guys? So I'm so excited about that. And here's how the triangle garden's looking now. It's quite sparse. You see a lot of soil now, but I'm hoping it all really fills in and becomes a nice accent to my containers up on the deck. And the Russian sage is really coming into its maturity this year. It's looked pretty scraggly for the last couple of years, but I'm really happy to see it doing so well. And I just planted some seedlings which seem to be taking just fine. These are purple salvia that I planted in March. And these were from seeds from my front salvias, which are mature. But they seem to be doing well. I have one more grouping of pots in the corner. These are my best topiaries, these two. And they look more topiary-ish already. So I have a single sphere topiary here with the sedum underneath, and then I have a double one that I'm working on. So I think that one came out pretty well, and I just got really lucky with the shape, and I just took after it and shaped it up with some scissors, and this ball should fill out. But again, I'm trying to add those topiary shapes to my garden and give it that English garden feel. And then this is a soft touch holly, and I have things shedding off of my tulip poplar everywhere, so that's what you see flying past and all over the deck. So that'll be cleaned up later. But isn't this pretty? This is soft touch holly, and I thought it would make a really pretty topiary form. It gets to be kind of like a mounded shape, so that'll be pretty. And that's underplanted with purple petunias, which the rabbits like, but hopefully this is too tall for the little bunnies to get to. We'll see. We'll see. They might be nibbled off at the bottom if they cascade over. But I was really pleased with this whole look, and I love terracotta pots. They're pretty too. They're kind of a neutral in my book. So guys, all I need to do is bring out some tea and some finger sandwiches, and hopefully I can have a nice English garden themed afternoon. Thanks for joining me and being my plant friend.